I want to talk about a Rosenwinkel lesson. It's actually an excerpt from his masterclass, and he's talking about an exercise that he's calling Diatonic fourths, and the whole exercise is in G major, and he's playing kind of a wicked pattern or sequence that I want to show you, which really sounds very cool, but is challenging to play and also can be challenging to understand, because I had that Zoom call last week and somebody just asked me how to explain this pattern after buying the masterclass. So I thought if he struggles with that, probably other people are struggling with that as well. So first of all, right, we're having the G major scale, like very basic. It's a very good idea to practice all 5 patterns of the G major scale for this exercise. So not only to play it here, but also here and here. And then it repeats, right? So that's the same pattern again. There are lots of different patterns. I like those 5 patterns that you also can find in the PDF because they cover all the notes in one position. I know there are like 3 notes, pattern and scales, which is all valid in certain situations, but for checking out your fretboard and really knowing your notes, I recommend playing those positions, right? And then you start by playing those positions in fourth. So in perfect diatonic fourth. How can you find the interval of a fourth in your scale? It's actually very easy. You start on the first note, the G, right? And then you just count up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you play those 2 notes, G and C. That's a perfect fourth, right? Remember how it looks on the fretboard. Then you start from the second note of the same scale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so we already found ourselves 2 perfect fourths. Now I'm starting on the third note, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm starting on the 4th note, and that's important, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And now all of a sudden I have a tritone. So that's important to understand for the sequence, right? It's diatonic. That basically means there's not one note that doesn't stem from the G major scale. But as you might know, there are different half and whole tone steps in the scale. And between the C and the F sharp, that leads to a tritone. So we're going to play a tritone here. If I play the entire scale in diatonic fourths, it's going to sound like this. Right, so this would be the first step to understanding this exercise, is to play, right, and you'll find an exercise and an example of everything that I play here on the PDF. So start like this and just be sure you know the name of the notes and what you're doing, because that will help you greatly understand this exercise. You can also only play it from a visual point of view, but I would recommend understanding what you're doing. So the next step is not to play only 1 fourth interval, but 2 stacked upon each other, right? So what are we doing? We're starting on the G, we're finding our 4th interval, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then from the second note, we find our next 4 steps in the scales. Let's think about it like this. That's maybe easier. So one more time, 4 steps in the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, and then we have the tritone. So we play like this. First note of the scale, up 4 notes, up 4 notes. Right, so this is like a mini cell, and we're going to encounter, I think, like 3 different types of cells three different types of variations, right? We can have perfect fourth on perfect fourth, we can have the tritone and then the perfect fourth, or we can have the perfect fourth and the tritone. But we can't have the tritone on top of the tritone. If you have a cell like this, something went wrong. So this would be the first cell, right? We let G, right? And now I'm going to the A, still in the G minor scale. G, G, 1, 2, 3, 4 to D. And now on the A, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then from this 1, 2, 4, right? So I'm having right. So this is really nice stuff because chordal harmony or like fourths can sound very modern, and it's sort of a try it if you want to, right? Because we can play it like we did, picking one note after the other, but we can also think about those cells of three notes as chords. Right? And then we can also use it for comping. So what does Kurt do in his solo? He starts by playing across the fretboard, always using a string pair. So the first string pair would be like E, A, D, right? So now he's playing the same thing that we found in one position, but like this, right? So it would be E, still all the notes from G major, E, A, D, F sharp, B, E, G, C, F sharp, right? Wrong note. Right, so this would be sort of step 3. First you play 1 fourth, then you stack them upon each other, and then you start to play it like this. And I know that sounds like a lot of work and it really is, but I think you won't be able to play the exercise that he's playing if you don't practice it like this. And yeah, just be sure to go over each and every string pair. So the next one will be right. We're struggling here. Yeah, so I definitely have to work on this exercise as well. What I am doing is 2 things. First of all, I'm really visualizing the shape patterns really. So I see like the G major scale pattern here, and then the next position here, and then I see the notes, right? Because I always have like one note on one string, right? And then I see like how it looks, and that's also what he has been writing down on this one page with those sort of architectural fragments. So, right, and then I see the scale, or I don't see it. Sorry. And I see how this thing morphs through the scale. And the other thing, because really practicing this thing as well, that helps me is to think about those chords also sort of as diatonic chords, right? So I'm thinking when I'm starting on the G, that would be my tonic, which then would have like a 4 and a major 7, right? Which is of course not our usual suspect. It's not exactly a G major chord, you know, with a 4 in it. But I'm thinking in degrees, that's what I want to say. I'm thinking in degrees as well, like, you know, 1st degree, 2nd degree, 4th degree, right? Then I have the raised 4, like a Lydian sound. 5th is sus, right? There's a lot of sus chords. But what I'm saying is I'm just like still trying to see that also from the perspective of the degrees, just, you know, to help myself understand it and not mess it up all the time. So I know if I'm on the, starting on the G, then it's sort of a 4 and then a major 7. Right, and I can see, okay, 7, 6 and 5, it's all the same shapes because it's not an endless number of shapes. Thank God. So, and now, what does he do? So, first you practice it like this, and then let's start on the B, right? So, in the scale of G major, that's B, E, A, right? So, this is one of those things we hopefully practice. And now, I'm going from the root of this thing that I'm going to understand as a chord for a moment. I'm going up a 3rd in the major scale. 1, 2, 3. And now since I practiced the stuff, I see the shape that would exist on those 3 strings. And then I go up a 3. Right, so I have tricky, but it really sounds cool. So let's do it one more time. So starting on the B. Right, and then he moves on into the next fragment, into the next chord. And then pick it downwards, descending. Right, we were ascending, descending. And then from this note, 1, 2, 3. Right, I'm going down in the scale, right, and then I have those packages, I call them packages. Right, and then I move, and I'm on the C, I move in the scale up to the next package. Then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then I'm playing something like, sorry. So I'm just like going to play this exercise one time for you. It's like, sorry. Sounds cool, right? One more time. Right, and so it has a lot of challenges. You have to understand the system, right? How the notes are organized. So many ways to organize notes, right? That's just the major scale. It can sound like this. Then you have to cross pick like a lot, right? So I'm still always playing alternate picking, right? Right, so basically, and as usual, you can just practice your right hand. Sorry. And I would really advise you to do this, right? Practice the right hand. And on top of that, we have like those notes, right? That are always, most of the time, on the same fret. And there are, of course, different thoughts about it. You can, what I try to do most of the time, use different fingers. Sorry. Right? Use different fingers, but here, for example, I'm Right, so it depends where you sort of, you know, where you come with which finger you land somewhere and how you do it. Yeah. One thing that I like to do about it, which is really, really cool, is to record myself a chord on the freezer and then play the sequence over this. So now let's think about it for a moment. We are in G major, so all the notes of this exercise stem from G major. There's not a single note that's not from G major. So we can think, oh, that's cool, I'm going to use another root than G. So we can use any mode that we want. So if I record myself an A minor 7 chord here, which I'm going to do in a second, this whole thing is going to sound A Dorian, and also giving me like a really cool idea if I have the situation of a modal tune to play A Dorian, this pattern, or maybe just like the shapes. So I'm going to record an A minor on my freezer. I can of course play them just like chords. Right, so I can use it in many ways. Let's have another chord. Let's have an E minor, which is like the relative minor. And this minor chord, of course, will sound different. So let's record E minor 7. And let's play the same damn thing. Can you hear it? It sounds different. Maybe more melancholic. So yeah, that's the Rosenwinkel exercise. Find the stuff in the PDF that goes with that video and explore new stuff. You know, I think this is a very good example for how something that we can think is lame, oh, it's just a major scale, can turn into something very hip. And I think basically that's what's happening all the time with many jazz musicians. They take something and give it a fresh twist, and it sounds really cool. So have fun exploring it. If you have any questions, just put them down in the comments and I will answer them. See you next week. Bye.